Welcome to GA235 Corporate Identity. This is week 3. We are going to discuss formulating relevant branding concepts. The objective is going to be consider the underlying approaches to creation of brand concepts. The key terms and concepts are going to be audience, brand essence, brand experiences, brand trust, brand association, and brand promise. Formulating relevant branding concepts. It must resonate with an audience, and it must aim and connect with the right audience. For instance, Beats by Dre and Jimmy Iovine, which you don't hear, of course, his name. However, they came up with the concept of selling headphones, which the market is already flooded with a lot of different headphones, and they're usually at a certain price point. But by creating a product that had kind of a more stylized look to them, they still had high performance as well, and they were able to get it into some of the major celebrities, a lot of sports, celebrities, even those in music. By doing that, really kind of helped connect with the audience and, help the audience want to be just like those sports figures and wear the same kind of gear. It also helped that they were Bluetooth, and it came out right around the time where you were getting more of the wireless types of headphones around that time. So that would be kind of a good example of a branding concept that kind of, skyrocketed. What do brand users think? What is relevant to the audience? And what do you want them to think about your brand? For instance, Subway, again, another market that has the food industry. There's a lot of competition, and even more particularly in the sub sandwiches, you have a lot of competition too. So Subway kind of helped carve themselves into the marketplace a little bit more than the others by adding the footlong, $5 footlong, right? And so that was kind of like a unique type of selling point that they could use to really capture a big segment of that market. And it was basically a low cost value, right? Basically you get a good amount of food for $5. Know your audience. Again, market research, finding out who your audience is, and then finding out what they want and giving them what they want. Relevant concepts can come from insights into human behavior. Or an example like this, we all have to wear, or at least men, most of them have to wear a button-down shirt. But again, a lot of them are not being tucked in. So to be able to design a shirt specifically that doesn't have to be tucked in for stylized purposes, kind of really hit on what they found that their audience wanted. Again, know your audience. Here's an ad campaign. BC Lions Football Club, Rethink Canada, so Canadian Football League, kind of promoting, football and such. And, having some sort of funny way of doing it is one theme that they could use. And when you're dealing with humor, that's that's like walking a tightrope in a sense sometimes, because it can either come off funny, it could come off offensive, or it can come off confusing and not funny at all, right? And so being able to develop and come up with something that's homogeneous that a lot of people can get is an example, and this one they seem to have done a pretty good job at that. So what are we really buying? We have this, that, and the other thing. So we have a luxury car, and you're buying quality, and the other thing you're also buying is status. For cosmetics, you're buying the actual cosmetic product, but you're also buying an enhanced appearance because you want That's what you want to get out of cosmetics. And the other thing is, of course, self-esteem. For insurance, you're buying protection, and the other thing is security. For house paint, you're getting durability and less work over time. Financial publication, investment advice, and being an insider. And for buying mouthwash, you're buying clean breath, but also social acceptance. So there's always this, that, and the other thing, and it could be a couple other things too. And it's good for companies to be able to tap into that, because once they know, they can start to develop their brand strategy around those things. Factors into the consumer decision-making process. Well, we all see lots of ads, and we think about buying something, but if we actually buy something is another thing. So what are some of those things that kind of help us make that decision to actually put our money down and buy a product? Well, family and friends. It's a good example. You hear that about a certain product from a family member or friend, you trust that family member or friend, so then you're going to trust that that product works, so you might do it that way. Sometimes people buy depending on their values or a company's value. For instance, companies that are more eco-friendly, people might buy those products because they want to be eco-friendly and they only want to put their money towards companies that do the same thing. There's cultural things that could influence aspirations, basic drives, just something that's going to solve your problem. Maybe you have certain habits. You've always bought a certain product, and so therefore you're going to continue to buy it. Or maybe even you're influenced by other types of communities. Finding concepts. The concept is the central, underlying, unique, proprietary, creative idea. It distinguishes and differentiates a brand or group from all the others in their competition. Communicates a message about a brand or group. Brands it in the mind of the audience and motivates that audience to buy or to act. Concept must work across branding experiences. A concept must be strong and flexible enough to adjust and consistently engage across all applications. So again, in this world, we live in a digital world, and we have lots of ads coming from various different places, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just websites, online experiences and such, and even printed materials. Being consistent, and I know we push this a lot, but it is important how consistency among all those different delivery platforms is important, right? Because it kind of helps reinforce that message, and it makes things clear, and if they're able to see the same thing over and over and over again, that's an important thing, because it's going to get it in the person's head to be able to remember and recall it when they're at the point of being able to make a decision. Maybe they're right at the store and they're making a decision on a certain product. Well, they're going to hopefully remember all the different advertisements that they've seen from that particular product, and that might play a big important role in their decision-making process. And then that kind of helps prove that advertising works, and building a brand that's consistent and constantly being pushed towards the consumer also works, and gets the person to be able to buy the product.